What is pool? I mean, you've done this. You've picked up a stick at some bar or at a friend's basement, lined up, hit a ball, and you've watched it drop into that pocket. And for a half a second, all the stars aligned and that tiny little rush of dopamine hits you, and it feels so satisfying. And here's what I want you to know. That feeling of making two spherical objects magically do what you want them to, that's the surface. That's the shallow end of something way bigger than you think. Because pool isn't a game. It's a universe filled with leagues and professional players and an incredibly rich and unique culture. And most people spend their entire lives outside the door of the pool universe, never walking in. So today, I'm gonna give you a little peek of what's actually behind that door, and my bet is that by the end of this, you might just wanna see how satisfying it can get. Let's be honest about something. The first time you make a ball playing pool, it's basically an accident. Satisfying, yes. An accident, also yes. But the second you start to understand why it went in, the angle, the way you move the cue stick, and how you start to make balls look like they're defying physics, that satisfying rush stops being an accident and you start chasing it. Like, it's not just that pool is fun, right? Lots of things are fun. It's that there's always a slightly deeper version of that same satisfaction over and over, deeper and deeper, till you realize, oh, there is no bottom. And the better you get, the better it feels. And that feeling becomes an addiction, and that's how you get bit by the pool bug. So how big is pool? Like, actually? Because most people think that pool is some little niche bar thing that you do every once in a while if there happens to be a table around. It's not. More than 11 million Americans play pool regularly, and it's one of the most global sports too. Worldwide, that number is over 100 million. The number of people who are genuinely into this game is way bigger than you would ever guess. It's just mostly happening where you're not looking. And how do most people find themselves getting into pool? Pool leagues. You know how people play in softball leagues, pickleball leagues, bowling, or hell, even Tuesday night trivia? Pool has that same exact draw. Pool leagues are everywhere, and there are a ton of them. And the best part about pool leagues is you don't even have to be good. Like, that's the whole point. It's a fun, easy social entry point into the game, and almost all of it is handicapped. So a total beginner can show up, be put on a team, and actually have a chance at winning a match. Plus, it's a great night out with friends. Like, just go do a thing you enjoy with people you enjoy being around. And if you like a little competition, there's plenty of glory in there too. Now, this is where pool shows itself to be completely unique in the world of social games. It scales. Take the BCA Pool League, for example. They hold their world championships in Las Vegas, which is actually where a lot of championships are held. Even more reason to join. Imagine 10,000 amateur pool players and hundreds of pool tables taking over a resort in Las Vegas for a week or more. And here's the wild part. It's not just the amateurs. The pros are right there too. Literally the best players in the world playing their world championships in the same room as you. The best players on the planet just rubbing shoulders, taking pictures, signing autographs, hanging out with people who just picked up a cue maybe a couple months ago. Could you imagine just going to have a chat with LeBron James or Lionel Messi? Like, that's non-existent. With pool players, there is no velvet rope. And that might not mean anything to you, but to a pool player, that's huge. You can stand a few feet from the best players in the world while they practice just soaking it in. You could even get lessons from these players. I mean, you gotta pay for it, but I mean, what, are you gonna do the same thing with the top NBA player? Come on. And once you actually watch them up close, or better yet, play against them, something clicks. On TV, they make it look so easy, but in person, you realize what they're doing is borderline impossible. Not just the making balls part, but the controlling the cue ball part, planning 3 or 4 or 5 shots ahead. It becomes less of a bar game and more like watching someone solve a jigsaw puzzle in real time, but the puzzle pieces are laid down with elite physical execution. It's just this beautiful marriage between mental and physical skill. And like I said, it's one of the most global sports on earth. The guy who snaps off a major could come from the Philippines, Germany, Taiwan, Albania, the US, and then some. There are pros scattered across dozens of countries around the globe, and any one of them is liable to become a world champion. I mean, I can't think of any other sport with a field that wide open. And on top of that, you got some characters. And so pro pool becomes shockingly fun to follow. And here's the thing, pool streams, it's either free or dirt cheap. Now it is also finally hitting mainstream. This year, actually, two of the world's biggest events in the sport, the US Open and the Mosconi Cup, are both gonna be on ESPN Plus. Now that might not sound like much, but to a pool player, that's not nothing. Now here's the part that nobody tells you. The sad reality is many of these world-class players treat the job like elite athletes would, but most of them are not rich. I mean, yes, at the very top it can be lucrative, but they're not really walking away from a good year's worth of winnings with multi-million-dollar deals. It's very different than a major sport. Now, prize money is finally headed in the right direction. There is more of it than there ever has been, and the pots are going up. But the truth is, the vast majority of pros are grinding. They live off of sponsorship deals, minimal tournament winnings, and building followings online, or maybe even selling their own products. The modern pool player is a hustler. It's just not the same kind of hustler that it was 30 years ago. There's something in the pool universe that I haven't mentioned yet, and it's what the game was built on in the first place. You see, this game was built on gambling. Even the name pool has its origins in horse race betting. So that smoky room of degenerate gamblers that you've seen in movies like The Hustler or The Color of Money, that's the DNA of where the game started. But hold on, because before I make pool sound any more shady than I have, let me just say, every sport has this. Golf is soaked in it. Side bets, money games, the guys playing for their wallets every weekend. There is a whole gambling world around pretty much every sport that you watch. The difference is, pool has never bothered to hide that part of itself. If you've ever squirmed at the idea of betting on a pool game, it's probably because public perception has pushed you to believe that. But in golf, you don't look at the Masters tournament and picture degenerate gamblers, you picture prestige. And however slowly, that is where pool is trying to go. Because here's the honest truth. In 2026, the road hustler, the guy who rolls into town, pretends to be a bad pool player, and then he cleans out the locals who don't know any better, that archetype is dead. Everyone's got a phone, and every player has a rating now. So in turn, pool is growing up. It's becoming a real professional sport. But that's not to say the excitement of gambling isn't out of the culture. That never went anywhere. That's just now out in the open, not a con. Just two players who know exactly how good the other is, putting real money on the line, playing against each other. I have personally watched pros finish a tournament in the afternoon and then go to a local pool hall that same night and play each other a heads-up match for well over $100,000. Meanwhile, they stream it online for the world to watch for free. And it is a crazy, wild world that we live in that almost nobody outside of the pool world knows. So here's what I want you to take away from all this. That little rush of satisfaction the first time that you made a ball, that is a doorway to a whole universe running underneath your nose your whole life. And the wildest part is that getting into this is the easiest thing in the world. You don't have to be good. You don't have to know anyone. You just have to go play. Go have fun. That's what happened to me. I met a guy hanging out with some friends, and he just made the game look like magic. And then he told me I could do it too. I just had to show up and learn a little bit. So I did. And that decision pulled me into a world I never knew existed, meeting people I never would have met, to the point where now, a few years later, I get to make this my thing. So that's my challenge to you. Just go play. You might feel that satisfying rush and realize you want to chase it. Happy shooting.